In Proverbs chapter 30, verse 8, the plea is made. It says, "Remove untruth and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Just let me consume my portion of food, so that I do not become satisfied and deny you and say, 'Who is Yahweh?' Nor let me become poor and steal and dishonor the name of my God." So we hear this Proverbs, this plea here, and it reminds us of how Jesus told us to pray for our daily sustenance, our daily bread. Contentment is very important for a Christian. Paul showed that in whatever circumstance, whether he had a lot or little, he learned how to deal with both circumstances. But many times when people have a lot, when they have plenty of money, they're rich, they're wealthy, they begin to feel that they can do what they want to do. They take privileges. They get into an arrogance and a haughtiness, something God despises. Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into the kingdom. These are the ones you have to be watchful for. They expect favoritism. They expect privilege. They expect that when they snap their fingers, that's what should happen. They don't want to pay fair wages. They don't want regulations. They want to be able to do as they please. And so when you favor such ones, problems happen. James chapter 2, verse 6, "But you have dishonored the poor. Is it not the rich who oppress you and drag you before the law courts? Do they not blaspheme the fine name by which you were called?" So here, this is what the rich people do, who are arrogant. They're always suing people, dragging them into court. You do something against them, if you offend them in any way, they're trying to find a way to get you into court, to get you into litigation, to get you imprisoned some kind of way. See, these are the type of rich people that the Bible warns against. And when these type of rich people are favored and they get into power, into your government, then you have a real problem, because they don't have contentment. They're greedy. And as James chapter 2 and verse 9 brings out, it says, "But if you continue showing favoritism," talking about in this instance toward the rich, "you're committing sin and you're convicted by the law as transgressors." So you're committing sin or lawlessness. And that is what it is attached to when the rich are favored. There's going to be lawlessness. That's going to be what's going to be produced. There's plenty of lawlessness. Look at Judas, a disciple of Jesus. He didn't seem to be rich or wealthy, but he was greedy, wasn't he? He was so greedy that he was willing to sell out even Jesus Christ for 30 pieces of silver. So when you have people like that, greedy like that, their inclination is greed. And therefore, they're going to be looking for every opportunity to get the money. And they're not going to be concerned about others. If they have access to treasuries and things like that, they're going to be finding a way to get that money in their pocket. They're going to be selling out the very people they're supposed to be caring for in order to put more money in the coffers. Now, just think about what they could do if they took those millions and spent it to help others who are in need. How much they could do for their society. But they're not concerned about that. They're concerned about their own selfish interests. So they're going to spend millions to get these people in office. Then they go into the politician after they get them elected, and then now they're looking for the benefits, decisions for their advantage because of the money they spent to get them in office. So lawlessness begins to take place. Investigations don't happen. They're able to continue in their lawless ways and no punishment at all. At the end of the day, the masses of people are going to suffer because The rich are behind the scenes doing what they want to do. And you're going to find, as in the days of Jesus, they'll be gulping down the camel, straining out the gnat. They'll be doing things that are illogical. The Pharisees back in Jesus' time were greedy. And so there were very many illogical things they were doing because of the money. They were straining out the gnat, gulping down the camel. As you see today with the governments today, look at the United States. They're arresting some journalists for covering a news story, but when it comes to prosecuting these people for murdering these unarmed people on the streets in Minnesota, no problem. We ain't have no investigation on that. These are the scenarios that happen when you have a favoritistic government, particularly that favors the rich. They'll be straining out the gnat, gulping down the camel. When humans are disobedient to God about government, they will accumulate a lot of debt. When we think about wars and weapons and things, I mean, you have a whole corporate, industrial, military apparatus going on. And so they're like a regular company, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all these kind of companies where, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they go in your store, they merchandise, and they got to keep selling that product. That's what it's all about. It's how you make that money. You don't care how bad it is for people. You got to make that money. You got to make a market for it. You got to make those commercials, make people want it. Same thing with this military corporate complex. They got to sell weapons. They got to sell them bullets. They got to go around every country, merchandising, making sure, maybe starting a war here, starting a war there, because they got to move this product. We got to make this money. So people have to die so that the greedy rich can keep getting money. And so Christians today, we know that there is no solution or salvation in these governments today. They're always going to have that scenario where the greedy rich are right there, just manipulating the government and leading to more and more lawlessness. And so their hope is not here under these human governments. Their hope and their focus is constantly focused on when the kingdom of God was going to take over. And that's what they pray for, not just their daily bread, but they pray for that kingdom. That's the only solution to the problems that we're facing now. There is no other solution. There is no tomorrow, so to speak, other than God's kingdom. And when it takes over, everybody that continued to wait on God, they will not be disappointed.